Quantum physics and consciousness, are we creating our reality? Welcome to our channel, where we explore the fascinating intersection of science, consciousness, and the mysteries of reality. If you've ever wondered whether we create our own reality, or how the mind interacts with the universe, you're in the right place. In today's deep dive, we're going to explore one of the most intriguing and mind-bending topics of modern science, quantum physics and consciousness, and whether these two realms suggest that our thoughts might actually shape the world around us. From the groundbreaking double-slit experiment to the idea of manifestation and reality creation, we'll unpack the scientific principles and theories that may point to consciousness as a key player in the quantum world. So, sit back, get ready to expand your mind, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated on all our content. Let's jump right in. Understanding the basics of quantum physics. Quantum physics is the branch of physics that deals with the behavior of particles at the smallest scales, atoms and subatomic particles like electrons and photons. It's a field that has revolutionized our understanding of the universe by revealing a world that behaves in ways that defy common sense. Unlike classical physics, which describes predictable and stable laws, think of a ball being thrown through the air, following a clear path dictated by gravity. Quantum physics shows us that at the microscopic level, particles don't follow such strict rules. In fact, they behave in ways that are probabilistic, meaning they don't have set positions or paths until we observe or measure them. This is where quantum physics starts to get really interesting, and really weird. To understand the connection between quantum physics and consciousness, we first need to grasp a few fundamental principles of quantum mechanics, such as superposition. This principle states that particles can exist in multiple states or places simultaneously until observed or measured. In other words, an electron doesn't exist in a specific location until we look for it. Entanglement. When particles become entangled, they remain connected in such a way that the state of one particle will instantly affect the state of the other, no matter how far apart they are. Albert Einstein famously referred to this phenomenon as spooky action at a distance. Wave-particle duality. This principle suggests that particles, like electrons and photons, exhibit both wave-like and particle-like behavior. Depending on how we observe them, they can act as waves that spread out over space or as particles localized to a specific point. The double-slit experiment, a glimpse into the quantum world. One of the most famous experiments in quantum physics that challenges our understanding of reality is the double-slit experiment. First conducted by Thomas Young in 1801 to study light, it was later adapted to explore the behavior of particles like electrons and photons. In the experiment, particles are shot toward a screen with two slits, and a detector is placed behind the slits to observe where the particles land. When both slits are open, and no one is observing, the particles behave like waves, creating an interference pattern on the screen. This pattern shows that the particles are interfering with themselves as if they're passing through both slits simultaneously. However, when the experimenters place a detector at the slits to observe which slit the particle goes through, the particles stop behaving like waves and act like particles. The interference pattern disappears, and instead, we see two distinct lines on the screen, corresponding to the two slits. This result has baffled scientists for decades. How is it possible that the simple act of observation can change the behavior of particles? This experiment suggests that reality at the quantum level doesn't solidify until it's observed, leading to the question, could consciousness be responsible for collapsing the wave function and creating reality? Quantum physics and consciousness, the role of the observer. The double-slit experiment points to the concept of the observer effect, which implies that the act of observation, whether through a conscious mind or a measuring instrument, affects the outcome of quantum events. This idea opens the door to speculation that consciousness may play a fundamental role in shaping the universe. Many physicists have debated whether the observer effect means that human consciousness is directly responsible for shaping reality. Could it be that the very act of focusing our attention on something at the quantum level influences how reality unfolds? Some proponents of this idea argue that consciousness and the quantum world are deeply intertwined. One of the earliest supporters of this view was physicist John von Neumann, who proposed that consciousness is the ultimate collapser of the quantum wave function. According to this theory, reality remains in a state of probability, superposition, until a conscious mind observes it, at which point it chooses a definite state. While this remains a controversial and speculative idea within the scientific community, it has led to intriguing questions about the relationship between mind and matter. Could it be that at the quantum level, our consciousness is actively participating in the creation of our own reality? Quantum consciousness, theories and hypotheses. Several theories have emerged that attempt to explain the connection between quantum physics and consciousness. Let's explore a few of the most prominent ones. 1. The Copenhagen interpretation. The Copenhagen interpretation, developed by physicist Niels Bohr, is one of the earliest and most widely accepted interpretations of quantum mechanics. It posits that particles exist in a state of superposition, multiple potential states, until they are observed or measured, at which point the wave function collapses into a single reality. While the Copenhagen interpretation doesn't explicitly state that consciousness causes the collapse, it leaves room for the possibility that the observer, whether conscious or not, plays a key role in determining the outcome of quantum events. 2. The many worlds interpretation. Another popular interpretation of quantum mechanics is the many worlds interpretation, MWI, first proposed by physicist Hugh Everett. According to this theory, every possible outcome of a quantum event actually occurs, but in different parallel universes. When we observe a particle, the universe splits into multiple realities, each corresponding to one of the possible outcomes. In the context of consciousness, the many worlds interpretation suggests that all potential realities exist simultaneously, and our conscious experience is just one of many possible timelines. This means that while we may not be creating reality per se, we are experiencing one of countless realities. 3. The Penrose-Hameroff orchestrated objective reduction, OR, theory. Physicists Sir Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff proposed the OR theory, which suggests that quantum processes in the brain's microtubules, tiny structures within neurons, are linked to consciousness. They argue that quantum coherence occurs in these microtubules, and when the wave function collapses, it gives rise to conscious experience. According to this theory, consciousness is not just a byproduct of brain activity but is rooted in the fundamental quantum nature of the universe. If true, this would imply that consciousness is a non-local phenomenon, possibly influencing reality beyond the confines of the physical brain. Manifestation and the law of attraction. Quantum mechanics meets conscious creation. The idea that we can create our own reality through the power of thought and intention is central to many spiritual and metaphysical practices, such as the law of attraction. According to this belief, focusing on positive or negative thoughts can attract corresponding outcomes into our lives. While this concept has been popularized in recent years through books like The Secret, it has deep roots in ancient spiritual traditions. But could there be a scientific basis for manifestation? Some proponents of the law of attraction suggest that quantum mechanics provides the missing link between thought and reality creation. They argue that since quantum particles exist in a state of probability until observed, our thoughts and intentions can influence which probabilities become real. In this view, focusing on positive outcomes aligns our consciousness with a particular quantum reality, thus increasing the likelihood that it will manifest. Likewise, negative thoughts or fears might attract unwanted outcomes by aligning us with less desirable quantum states. Quantum field theory and the unified nature of reality. Another key concept in quantum physics that relates to the idea of consciousness shaping reality is quantum field theory, QFT. This theory suggests that all particles are excitations of underlying fields that permeate the entire universe. In other words, everything we see and experience is connected through these invisible fields. From this perspective, consciousness could be seen as part of the quantum field, a fundamental force that interacts with and shapes the fabric of reality. If consciousness is indeed a form of energy that exists within these fields, it might have the power to influence the behavior of particles and the outcomes of events. The challenges and controversies. Despite the allure of these ideas, it's important to note that the connection between quantum physics and consciousness remains highly speculative and controversial. While quantum mechanics has been rigorously tested and confirmed in laboratory settings, the idea that consciousness plays a direct role in shaping reality is far from proven. Many scientists argue that consciousness may simply be a byproduct of brain activity and has no influence on the quantum world. They caution against drawing conclusions from quantum experiments like the double-slit experiment, which involve particles at microscopic scales, and applying them to the macroscopic world of human experience. However, others believe that the mysteries of quantum physics point to a deeper, more interconnected reality, one in which consciousness, matter, and energy are all part of a unified whole. Conclusion: are we creating our reality? So, are we creating our own reality? While quantum physics offers tantalizing hints that consciousness may play a role in shaping the world around us, we still have much to learn about the nature of reality itself. What is clear, however, is that the universe is far more mysterious and interconnected than we once thought. Whether or not our thoughts and intentions directly influence the quantum realm, the act of observing and participating in the world around us undeniably shapes our experience of reality. Perhaps the true power of consciousness lies not in creating reality in a literal sense, but in how we choose to perceive and engage with the world. In that sense, we are indeed the creators of our own reality, shaping our lives, our relationships, and our world through the lens of awareness and intention. Thank you for joining us on this mind-expanding journey into the world of quantum physics and consciousness. If you enjoyed this content and want to explore more fascinating topics like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, the universe is far more than meets the eye.